Welcome. So what I would like to do in this short sequence is work on lengthening and lifting the posture. So lengthening, lifting the spine, shoulders back and down. And I want to keep it sweet and short, so it's something you can bring into your day at any time. Okay, so we're just going to start off here briefly in seated and come back to seated at the end. So of course I have my wonderful pillow. I love a really fat pillow to help my posture be more comfortable. So that's up to you. And that's all you need, comfortable position. Okay, we are going to be on hands and knees a bit, so if you want padding under the knees, make sure you have that. Okay, so right here you want to feel that you have space. We're not staying here long right now because we want to work on that space. So I'm going to switch our bodies around now to a little child's pose moment. A nice long child's pose moment, but feeling the stretch of it. Okay, so the toes touch and the arms reach as far as they can, fingers extending. So it might be a somewhat active child's pose. And you stretch your spine long and away from that, bowing your head through. Deep breath here. So feel that lengthening spine right down to that tailbone reaching away. Up to those fingers, extending. So now making your way up to hands and knees. Okay, creating a strong table of the body. So seeing that those knees are straight down from your hips, arms are straight down, hands are straight down from the shoulders. Okay, so you've got a wonderful base there. Eyesight should be down, looking in front, so your neck is in line. And you begin to move into your spine. Release down and it opens your heart forward. And then you exhale and curl. Feel that tuck from lower spine, mid to upper. So about 4 or 5 times, move through that wonderful spine. Wake it up, stimulate, connect to your breath. Really curl up, let your head drop through. And then centering it out again. Now tuck the toes and you move back into an active child's pose. Okay, any wrist tension, you take a moment, of course, to release that. I'm going to come into a back bend. Okay, I'm going to do a very lifted back bend. You are welcome to come down to forearms and do your back bend on forearms because sometimes that is better for hands, wrists, or lower back. So I'm going to shift my hips forward and just let them drop and practice lengthening here. Okay, lifting to the sky, shoulders shifting back and down. Take a deep breath. Good. And now using that, I want you to come down onto your stomach. This is the best place to feel the length of the body, because the floor will kind of force you into it. So I use my forearms and I kind of draw forward and then I drop down, bring my legs close, and one at a time I lift them up and I stretch them a little longer and set them down, and then the other one, stretch it and set it down, and then maybe shake the hips out. So I'm going to do a shoulder opener. I would love if you watch for a second so I can show you what you can add on to it if you want. You don't have to. Okay, so I'm going to turn away from you. You reach the one arm out, and you roll your hips up. And this top leg can bend. Here's the add-on. This arm can reach up and fall back. Okay, so keeping in mind that that second piece of the arm reaching up is not necessary. You can leave that out. Okay? So you got to be careful with that shoulder. You're doing a really deep shoulder opener here. Lifting up the arm if you want to. back down, rolling center, and taking it the other direction. Okay, so bending the leg if it feels right. Always remember that you can drop your head, even if you decide to have a pillow here. A pillow might be really nice. If you're dropping too far down, tuck your chin. Maybe reach the arm up for some bodies, and maybe open it. Deep breath. And then bringing that top arm down and centering out. And so since we're here, I think we should keep lengthening and lengthen through the front of the thigh. So what you do is you reach back for one foot, and you can do the quadricep here. But you can also roll it to one side. I'm going to show this one so I can be facing you, and lengthen through the front of your thigh. So either one, take a moment for that. Shoulder goes back. Okay, ready to switch? Rolling down, switching sides. Now I'm going to shift us back into child's pose. Do that however you like. If you'd like a back bend along the way, feel free to add that in, and then feel the length here again. So feel the hips fall back, bowing in, fingers reaching really far. So now I'm going to move us into an outer hip stretch and open that up with a pigeon pose. I'm going to go for the deep pigeon pose. So know that you can choose a figure 4 to replace that if you prefer. Figure 4 would be awesome right now. Okay, so to represent the pigeon pose, I'm going to stay turning sideways so you can see the length of it. And I'm going to bring one leg through with the leg tucked in for me. And then this leg, I think about stretching it really long behind me. And so ideally, I guess for posture, I would be thinking more of the lifted, shoulders back, pigeon pose, okay? But totally understand if you want to drop your body down and just stretch out through the hip here also. So a little bit of both, not a super long pigeon right now. One more little suggestion, one more little piece of lifting it up and turning it into a little more advanced pigeon where I reach back for the foot and open the chest. Posture lifted with that. Okay. And then releasing that. Ready to move to your second leg, second side. So bringing the other leg through. A little balance through the hip, lengthening through that back leg, choosing how you want to practice right now. I'm doing a little bit of both. finish it off one more time. I'll lift up into the back bend. Possibly you want to bend the back leg, reach for the foot. And then easing out of that, I'm going to come around to seated. And your seated can either be butterfly for lengthening of the spine or cross-legged. I'm going to finish off with a little upper body movement. So if it helps you to be in butterfly, to do that, go for butterfly. Or cross-legged. I'm going to use my pillow tucked in for lift and space in my body. Okay. So now that we did all that stuff, to stretch longer, lift higher, we're ready to just move from this space. Fingertips back. You might exaggerate that slightly. Inhale, lifting up from way back there to the sky. Lengthening, and then exhale down. And two more of those. Come around to your heart, to your shoulders, chest. Inhale, opening up. Exhale, pressing forward. And two more of those. Inhale and exhale. Letting the arms, shoulders settle down, body back a little bit. Last idea is to move into your wonderful side bend, stretching long fingers down to your hip. And then bring the hand behind the head and use that to practice elbow moving back and kind of moving back in space while you lengthen. Deep breath here. And then coming up and out of that. One more side, one more time. Reaching long. And deep breath. Your hand comes behind your head. Gently kind of move back into that space. Elbow moves back. Lengthening. Deep breath. Good. And then lifting up. So bring this little practice into your day, maybe one time, maybe two or three if you need a little more, and adapting it to yourself. So using that for lift, length, posture. So thank you so much for hanging out with me.